thanks for watching the video. If you could do me and the channel a favor, hop down to the comment section and let me know what decks you guys want me to make next. And while you're down there, if you could drop a like and subscribe, it'd help out a lot. With that being said, enjoy the video and have a great day. Buddy, welcome back. Today we are going over a Flareon EX deck list. Well, a bit of an Eevee-lution deck, as we do include the Leafeon in here as well, but primarily a Flareon EX deck that did take second place in a City League. So I'm super excited to show this one off, and let's just hop right into it. So we do have two copies of Eevee EX, which is not only able to evolve into our Flareons and Leafeons, but also acts as a basic normal Tera Pokemon that will add some benefits to us that we'll get to take a look at sooner here. And then two copies of the Boosted Evolution Eevee, which allows us to, when this Pokemon is in the active spot, evolve on the first turn you play it, including your first turn, like in play. So really nice to have that in there, just getting our Eevees into our bigger Pokemon right away, not having them as those low HP threats. And then we got one copy of Fezandipiti in EX in here for its Flip the Script ability, which once during our turn, when one of our Pokemon were knocked out during our opponent's last turn, we may draw 3 cards. So just a really nice draw engine. Being able to rebound after taking a knockout is really nice. 3 copies of our main attacker, Flareon EX. It has 270 HP. It is a Tera-type Pokemon. And Burning Charge for 1 fire and 1 colorless is a really nice attack. It deals 130, which is a pretty solid number. But you also get to search for 2 energy from your basic, 2 basic energy from your deck and put them on one of your Pokemon. So not only does it deal that 130 for 2, but it accelerates energy to your other Pokemon, or to this Pokemon if you'd like. And then Carnelian for 1 fire, 1 water, and 1 electric does do 280 damage, but during your next turn this Pokemon cannot attack. And it does have 2 retreat costs, which isn't awesome. We do have 3 copies of that in here. Moving on, we have 1 copy of Leafeon EX, which also is Tera, has 170, and evolves from Eevee. But it has Verdant Storm, which for 1 grass and 1 colorless deals 60 damage for each energy attached to all of my opponent's Pokemon. So kind of like a an Energy Crush attack, but a little bit better, because those Energy Crushes are usually 50 damage. This is 60 damage. And then Moss Agate for 1 grass, 1 fire, and 1 water deals 230, but also heals 100 from each of our benched Pokemon. So, and it has 2 retreat cost. So this will allow us to not only hit into weakness for things like Charizard and such, but also gives us a bit of a healing option that we wouldn't get to see otherwise. Now, Flareon Jolteon is very popular, but this list did draw my eye just because it did take second place at one of those City League tournaments. So very interesting here. Then we got a 4/4 line of Hoothoot and Noctowl in here for its Jewel Seeker, which once during your turn, when you evolve this Pokemon, if you have a Tera in play, you get to search for any 2 trainer cards. So we've been over this before on the channel. It is just such a great attack, and that's where having that Eevee EX in here, because it is a Tera type, is going to be super beneficial, because this is going to make it so we don't have to evolve in order to take advantage of Noctowl. We're just going to have that Tera type Pokemon in play right away. So really nice there. And then we also have 2 copies of Fan Rotom, which Fan Call, once on our first turn, you may search your deck for 3 normal type Pokemon with 100 HP or less, reveal them, put them into your hand. As we've seen, this pairs very well with the Hoothoot and Noctowl tech, but we can also find our Eevees with this particular list. So really nice having these 2 Fan Rotoms here. And then obviously Assault Landing is a viable attack for 1 color that deals 70 damage as long as there's a stadium in play. And that's it for the Pokemon, so let's move on over to the trainers. We do have 1 copy of Counter Catcher. In case we get behind a little bit, we can treat it as a boss. 3 Tera Orbs, because we do play so many Tera-type Pokemon, we can search those out with those Tera Orbs instead of investing Ultra Balls into them. 1 copy of Black Belt's Training, which during this turn, attacks used by your Pokemon do 40 more damage to your opponent's active EX. So this is a new card from Prismatic, as so many of these cards are. And that extra 40 is going to fix a lot of math, taking that 280 Carnelian up to 320. So really nice damage boost there that's going to let us hit those knockouts on things like Dragapult most specifically. And then obviously we're going to get damage buffs for our Leafeon or whatever else we're trying to hit into. Our A-Spec of choice is actually going to be Prime Catcher here. It's not going to be the Sparkling Crystal that so many of these decks run. Prime Catcher acts as a switch as well as a boss for us. So because we're not playing the free retreat Jolteon and we're going with the Leafeon route instead, having that extra switching, quite frankly, is really powerful, as well as it's just a great A-spec all around. Moving on, we have one copy of Night Stretcher for a little bit of recovery, one copy of Rescue Board just to make sure we can pivot a little easier, not get a Noctowl trapped or anything like that. 4 copies of that Nest Ball are in here so we can get those Eevees out. We can make sure we find Fan Rotom, get Fezandipiti when we need it. So those 4 copies of Nest Ball are really nice. Then we got 1 copy of Professor's Research for a little hand reset. 2 copies of Boss's Orders. So we got plenty of movement our opponent. We got the Prime Catcher, Counter Catcher, and 2 Boss's Orders. Balances out really nice here. 1 copy of Jamming Tower so we can take away our opponent's Sparkling Crystal more times than not, but also any other tools that our opponent might try and play to meddle with us. 1 copy of Iono in here just as a hand reset and hand disruption. Only 1 Area 0 Underdepths. It's not super important that we get a big bench because we're really not putting that many Pokemon into play at any given point. Obviously, the Noctowls and Fan Rotoms will take up some space later on in the game, but hopefully we don't get to the point that Area 0 Underdepths is a necessity for us. 1 copy of Briar is in here, seeing as our attacking Pokemon are all Tera type. So definitely taking advantage of that just in case the need arises. 2 copies of Crispin are how we're going to get some energy acceleration, hopefully on our first turn going second, because hitting for 130 on that burning charge can be really nice and a lot of the time lead to donks if your opponent was unable to find more basics. So having access to that Crispin right away is super awesome. We also play 2 copies of that Glass Trumpet. If you have any Tera Pokemon in play, you may play this. Choose up to 2 of your benched normal type Pokemon and attach a basic energy from your discard pile to each of them. Again, so a normal type Pokemon as well as a Tera, we're going to be able to accelerate energy to our Eevees before we evolve them, and that's also going to help with a little bit of that energy acceleration there. 4 copies of Buddy-Buddy Poffin, again, just making sure we're getting those Eevees and those Fan Rotoms on our turn 1, being able to do things as we please. 3 copies of Ultra Ball in here. Discard 2 cards from your hand and search your deck for any Pokemon. Reveal it and put it into your hand. Just another Pokemon search. So we have tons of Pokemon search in here. We got plenty of energy acceleration. So in theory, this deck runs really smoothly, and having it taken second at one of those tournaments is quite impressive. So hopefully we're going to see some success with this deck. We got 1 copy of Switch in here. Again, all of our stuff, well, mostly all of our attacking Pokemon do have that 2 retreat cost, so having that access to at least 1 Switch is going to be really nice, just in case we do need to pivot. And then 1 copy of Earthen Vessel. Discard a card and search for up to 2 basic energy cards, putting them into our hands. So just a little extra way to get energy in case we're unable to get the Carnelian rolling, we're unable to find a Crispin, we can just go ahead and Earthen Vessel it to our hand and use our attachments. As for the energy split, we do have 3 copies of Fire, 2 copies of Electric, 1 copy Grass, and 3 copies Water. The reason it's this split is the 3 Fire and 3 Water is because both Fire and Water is used in both of these attackers. Only 2 Electric because we do play more Flareons than we do Leafeons. And then we have the 1 Grass just so we have access to our Leafeon here because Grass is not needed in any of our other Pokemon. So that's the justification for that energy split. So let's go ahead and hop into a playtest here. Alright, hopping into our playtest here for our Flareon 2nd place City League deck. Let's see what we can do with this. Now, we do prefer going 2nd with this deck, as that boosted evolution Eevee means we can get those Flareons and Leafeons out right away, and hopefully we can go boosted evolution Flareon Crispin is the ideal start there for us. We do not want to go first. Now, obviously, going first, we're going to be able to not only evolve our Tera Eevees, but also evolve our Noctowls sooner. We do have a mulligan here, but just the presence of that donk is just, it screams too loud. And we do, unfortunately, have to start Hoothoot here. We have double Buddy-Buddy Poffin in hand, and I don't love researching away this Prime Catcher. Depending on what our opponent plays, we might actually use it here. Not only as a Prime Catcher, but as a switch. Buddy Poffin, grab ourselves some Eevees. It looks like it's gonna be Hydreigon. Okay. So lots of hit points, lots of spread. We'll see how this one turns out. And they're running the Toedscruel, but that's not too important for this particular matchup. They're just going to go ahead and retreat. They're trying to keep that Pidgey safe here. And they go into Klefki here, which is actually quite annoying because that means our boosted evolution will be shut off. So we might end up playing the Prime Catcher here. Ideal top deck there would have been a Crispin, but beggars can't be choosers. Go ahead, grab Fan Rotom and Eevee. Head throw down our other Buddy-Buddy Poffin. We'll go 2 Hoothoots, I think. Yep. Then we can go ahead and Fan Call here. Oh, no, we can't because of Klefki locking down our basic Pokemon. So we are actually going to go ahead and use that Prime Catcher. What are we grabbing here? I don't think we're going to be able to take a knockout on anything due to the lack of Crispin. So we might bring up Toedscruel to try and slow them down a little bit on that front. This is also going to give us access to our Klefki. Or to our Fan Rotom, sorry. So off that Fan Rotom, we'll grab 2 Noctowls. Is it just going to be 3 Noctowls, or do we think we're grabbing another Eevee? Let's check prizes here. Okay. It looks like our Leafeon is prized. A Crispin's prized. A Nest Ball is prized. Alright, so we got some stuff. That Leafeon is the biggest missing thing, but the Grass Energy is missing along with it, so wouldn't be seeing much use out of that. I think we are just going to go ahead. You know what, we'll grab another Eevee. Yep, drop that in there. Go for the boosted evolution here. And we're not going to Professor's Research. We probably should have planned that out a little bit better. That's my bad. We should have waited to Fan Call Professor Research first to see what we could see. But this next turn we have a decent setup. Unless they just pop off with a bunch of rare candies and evolutions here. But we have that Noctowl tech in play. Well, available to us right now. Looks like they're going to be going for either a TM Evo play or they're just thinning that card out. Going to attach to the Klefki. So it looks like they're going back into it, shutting off our basic Pokemon abilities, which is fine because our Noctowl is a stage 1. And it looks like they're just going to go for the TM Evo play, targeting Dino and Pidgey. So I think off this Noctowl, probably Boss and Vessel would do us the best, I think. And we draw into another Noctowl. I think we're going to go Boss and Vessel so we can take care of that Zweilous right away. Boss. And it looks like we unfortunately did prize our Earthen Vessel here. And because of that Toedscruel, we can't get any energy out of our discard pile. Not that there is any right now. So, that being said, we need energy in play to even do anything. So we might just have to go for a Crispin play here. So we don't have any energy in our hand. Then I think we'll go ahead, grab a Tera Orb here so we can get that other Eevee evolved right away. Yeah, we're just going to end up going for a Burning Charge. So let's grab a Fire, and it doesn't really matter what the other one is. Put the water into our hand, and attach the Fire to our Flareon here. Let's go Tera Orb, find ourselves another Flareon. So we can start getting this set up here on the bench. Now, we have these other Noctowls available to us. Our opponent only has 3 cards in hand, so they might be looking for an Iono. But going for that TM Evo play they could also have the Pidgeot in hand and just find it. So do we want to use, well, we'll attach for turn. Yep. Do we want to use this Noctowl for anything? I think we'll go ahead and risk holding on to it. And just go ahead, Burning Charge, grabbing a water and a fire for our Flareon. Or an electric and a fire. For our benched Flareon. So setting up, we have a Carnelian on the bench, we have Burning Charge in the active, and we're just one fire away from having Burning Charge on the, or Carnelian on the active as well. So looks like our opponent is just going to go for a desperate Budu here. Unless, well, I suppose they were probably just promoting that for the free retreat. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Dark Patch onto the Zweilous. Only 3 cards in hand. We're not seeing the Pidgeot come down right here, so could be good. Could be Arven for Ultra Ball. Yep. Gonna discard those last 2 cards they had, which was a Night Stretcher and a Dark. This is gonna get them that Pidgeot EX, which I'm sure is going to get them a Hydreigon EX, just so they have those hit points in play. Otherwise, a Noctowl boss play would be incredible. So a little unfortunate that that Earthen Vessel was prized. They're actually just going to go for a counter catcher to stall here. But that's okay. We can go into Noctowl here, grab ourselves that Rescue Board. Rescue Board boss is going to take out that Zweilous. They're going to have nothing lined up for attacking. So kind of happy that we held on to that Noctowl. Well, both of the Noctowls, but only one was really necessary. There's boss. There's Rescue Board. Equip there. Let's go back, and we'll go into this one just so we have it. Boss's orders. There is actually, I think it would be better to grab that Pidgeot and take the 2 prize knockout, because that's going to cut off that engine for them, which is a really strong engine. So we're going to go ahead and do that actually here. Leaving them with no cards in hand. They're going to have whatever they draw into here. We still have access to another Noctowl, which is absolutely incredible. There's the Grass Energy, which at this point isn't really mattering. Looks like this is just going to be a Flareon game. And our opponent goes ahead and scoops it there. So it is already late at the time of recording this, so we're going to keep it a nice short and sweet video with just the one. You guys got to see how the deck functions pretty well there, I think. So there's the 60, and it's relatively simple, I'd say. Not a ton going on with the Pokemon, and you just have a bunch of different options with the trainer cards. So I definitely would recommend giving this a try. There are more Eevee-lution decks to come. I have a few cooking up. And so comment down below what decks you guys want to see next. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe button, and have a wonderful day.